welcome back to more Let's Play Dragon Warrior Monsters. Last time, we took on the final gates that were just below the stairs here, along with all the other gates, where we faced off against Esterk and Pizarro, the main bosses from Dragon Quest IV. Today, we get to show off a fun new friend, who, while they are the replacement for Soul, they won't fill my heart like his smile used to. Say hello to Miru, aka Mirodras, who I did look into because I was curious about their history. Apparently, Mirodras was originally called Mildrith, or something akin to that. And then, I think in the English translation, they were renamed to Nimzo. They're from Dragon Quest V, though. And, speaking of Dragon Quest V, that's the next gate we're going to be tackling first. Now, because we've cleared all the gates that are down the stairs there, we get to now go around Great Tree and find all the other gates that we happen to unlock. The first one that we will be going to in order to fight Mirodras is actually over here in the bazaar. The other two gates, the one in the arena and then the one guarded by the old man, actually focus on Dragon Quest VI bosses. For whatever reason, Dragon Quest V only has one. So, let's hop right in. Very specifically, this gate focuses on the, on the material family. Now, as I have done before, I will be speeding things up in order to make things go a little quicker, but it's nothing that you haven't come to not expect at this point. Otherwise, let's see, for monsters, we can find coilbirds, goopies, mud dolls, sabermen, facers, mad candles, rogue knights, spiky boys, curse lamps, and let's see, evil wands, gizmos, which are pretty good for breeding phoenixes, jewel bags, a name that I'm not making up, though it does sound funny, Balzac, B-A-L-Z-A-K, Balzac, Bombcrag, Metaldrac, and Roboster. So those last four are all fairly notable, maybe not so much Bombcrag, but Balzac, I know, get your laughs out now, can be used to make a King Leo. So if you wanted to get a King Leo pretty darn easy, Balzac's your guy. Breed him with a beast, you'll get a King Leo pretty darn easy. It's one of the things I actually ended up doing by accident because I recruited one while I was running around getting everyone all level up. Speaking of two, here is Miru doing pretty good all across the board. Zoma is doing phenomenal, and Mudo is maxed out. She got max attack. So, we're doing pretty darn good in that regard. Now, otherwise too, Metaldrac, a favorite of ours that we've used for making so many different monsters, and Roboster, another phenomenal monster for making a lot of those harder later ones. This gate's pretty darn good for finding all sorts of things that you might otherwise struggle in finding or creating yourself. This gate actually will save you a fair amount of time if you can't be bothered to make them yourself, because a lot of them are a little more difficult to do. So this is one of few I do recommend coming to, for purposes other than just fighting the boss. Now, otherwise, as you saw, we have a whopping 30 floors, 29 of which are random. Pretty stock standard par for the course at this point. And otherwise, I mean, we're actually making pretty good time. Already down 4 floors. I don't think we've seen a fight yet, which is kind of surprising. Speaking of, I should make sure everyone is on charge. Very good. We do not wish to be caught with our proverbial pants down, because, frankly, I'd rather get through these fights as quick as can be. Asking you shall receive. Hello, Coilbird. And here's the creation of the universe. Big Bang, our beloved. Goodbye. Now, I haven't gone over Miru's moves, but they've got some pretty nasty abilities. Specifically, Giga Slash is a very unique attack. It's one of the things that I didn't originally plan on having, but after I looked into it, specifically the resistances along with, say, Ultra Down and other moves of a similar nature, Giga Slash has its own resistance category, and almost nothing is outright immune to it. Resistant, yes, but very, very few monsters are just straight up immune. So because of this, it's really good single target damage before getting buffed with, say, twin hits and then using quad attack. So I figured, why not? We got room for it. And unfortunately, Mirodras never really learns quad hits, so it's going to be the best they've got. Overall, they're kind of our spell slumber, to be completely honest. Mudo and Zoma, with twin hits and quad attack, are the physical damage dealers, which is good. It's nice having two of them, so that'll make all these end fights go so much quicker, and it's going to really help when we fight that special battle. Oh, and hello, Mr. Wizard, you are exactly who I wanted to see today. He's even got some fun enemies with a Metal King, a Snapper, and a Chop Clown. How perfect. Chop Clown goes down with a one hit, Metal King's down, and let's see that final one. Goodbye, Snapper. Some honestly very good EXP, too. Now this is going to save us a ton of time, which is awesome. Now if you notice, it didn't bring us all the way down. It brings you 20 floors, which is still phenomenal. Now we won't have to bother with all that early game chaff. We can just book it straight for the gate and be done. In fact, I even have warp staffs. Let's just use them, call it a day. Because as much as I love fighting all these good monsters, I'm not exactly here to recruit them. So I figure may as well. I will actually save the game here, just in case. You never know. Can be useful in dire emergencies. Also, I just realized, our team is a traffic light. Mudo's green, Zoma's more or less yellow, and Miru's red. That's kind of funny. But honestly, just gonna keep using warp staffs. I collected them, may as well use them. That was probably the fastest gate we've gone through. And frankly, I'm A-okay with it. That's great. So, hey, Mirodras, or Mildrath, or Nimzo, or whatever name you go on. How's it going? At last you came here, the Monster Master Terry and his companions. You must know who I am. I actually do. In fact, I have your final form right behind me. You have good intentions. The king of the evil lords and the king of kings. I am Miradros. Which, I guess, you know, if you change the R's to L's to Mildrath, I mean, I can see how it got changed around. Come on. I'll show you why I'm the king of the evil lords. Well, you'll certainly try, buddy. Admittedly, Miradros isn't all that. He's only got 5,000 HP. He does have 999 MP. He knows Blazemos, Explodit, and Thordane. Nothing we haven't fought before. To be honest, he's kinda underwhelming. So, I'm at least happy his gate went by quick enough so that we weren't met with a super underwhelming fight. As you can see, Giga Slash does, honestly, pretty darn good damage. Once Miru gets maxed out attack, and Zoma uses twin hits, it's not gonna be much better, but if we do need to overcome physical resistances or things like that, it is a pretty good attack. It's also notably very good for metal slime hunting, because they're not resistant to it. So, bonus. You're kinda seeing Miradros for all they're worth. They're not that dangerous. Worth a good chunk of EXP, though. Hey, and it gives Zoma a level. She hits level 87, getting 5 HP, 1 defense. Well, you know. How could I be defeated? It cannot be. It must be a dream. And now I understand. Alright.
You really became strong. Now let's go back.
Well, thank you, Watabou. I've only put over 80 hours into becoming this strong. So, you know, I'm glad it at least is showing off. Or about paying off, not showing off. I guess I'd be the one showing off with what it's paying off for. Anyways, pretty easy. Now, let's see. We're still doing pretty good on supplies, all things considered, so let's just head on to the next gate. It's right on down in the arena. Honestly, depending on how quick things are, we might just do the rest of the 3 today. That went really fast. Now, to be fair, if this next gate takes forever, I'll weigh our options. But right now, I'm feeling good. So otherwise, let's see. The Arena Gate. It is the Beast Gate. It, interestingly, has a couple fewer floors. 27 total, 26 of which are random. Otherwise, we have all of the beasts here, from Omirage, Catfly, Fairy Rat, Pillar Rat, Solroon, Mad Gopher, Momonja, Sacker, Tongue Dweller, Wind Beast, Goat Gun, Grizzly, Hammerman, Super 10, Wild Ape, Bolt Beast, Iron Turret, Trumpeter, Unicorns, and Yetis. Some interesting stuff, but nothing that really stands all that much out. Now, if you did get the Trumpeter Egg from the Metal Man, and you don't have a King Leo, that's another pretty good option to get one. Just grab another Trumpeter from here, breed it with it. Now, interestingly, I didn't initially have a plan for the Trumpeter Egg we got from the Metal Man, but I ended up breeding it, ultimately, into a Battle Rex, because they naturally know Metal Cut. Now, with this, my whole idea and philosophy was that as I start breeding the team after this episode, not after this episode, it'd be the final episode, once I start working on the Ultimate Monster, Darktrium, I'm going to be losing party members, and they're going to need to be able to farm EXP. This is going to cause a problem, because there won't be anyone strong enough to farm the EXP. So I've subtly created this Battle Rex in the hopes that they'll be strong enough and have decent enough skills that they can help farm the Metabals, and more or less look after our Miradros, so that way they can, not Miradros, our, I guess the resulting monsters, which will be Deathmore and then eventually Darktrium, in order to level them up. That way it'll help me get things done a lot quicker. For you guys, it's going to be as simple as, okay, breed this, make this, breed this, make this, here's the result, huzzah, we're done with the game, it's been a long journey, hit it right. So really, it's more something I've set up for myself, just to help the process go quicker. But still, I think it'd be good info to let you know. And man, I hate when the enemy uses Iron Eyes. It's really good, but boy is it annoying. And any day now. There we go. Oh, I tell ya. Also, man, I think I had over 400 HP. Alright. You don't see that every day. And look, it's basically the same fight, just remixed. Hooray! Oh, I love having high team levels. I do, actually. I quite enjoy being very powerful, especially because it makes all of the other master fights very worth your time. Because you're getting comparable EXP to a Metabal, but more guaranteed, which is very nice. Interestingly, from fighting 2 Metal King slimes, you actually get less EXP than you would 2 Watabous. Generally, whenever I fought 2 Metal Kings, usually I've gotten around like 1300 EXP. It's kind of weird. You think the bigger monster would yield more EXP, but they don't. So, I don't know what's up with that. Maybe it's something to do with their level internally. I really don't know. But that was an interesting scenario. Or, I guess, finding. But either way, doesn't bother me much. You're still getting good EXP regardless, and usually a free heal, an item, what have you. So, I always find it pretty darn worth it. Otherwise, perfect. Yeah, man. It's gonna be sad saying goodbye to the series. As much as I do love this game, though, I will be happy to finally put it to rest, so to say. Just because, while I do love the game, 83 hours, as you just saw, is a lot of time to spend on one project. And I've been working on this for almost a full year, which is terrifying. Now, granted, this is due to extraneous circumstances, changes in all sorts of things, me just actually, working a normal job, etc. So it makes sense that a big project like this takes time. But, too, I've learned a lot from it. I've gotten better with some audio, I've learned a bunch of things, I've tried some different editing tricks, though not as many as, say, when I did some of my previous Let's Plays. Still, it's all good milestone progress that is, ideally, going to help me make better projects in the future. And if I can do that all while showing off a game that I love dearly, then all the better. That's perfect. Otherwise, I'm sure everyone's all nice and set. Blow away this poor Mamonja, who frankly has the expression like he just witnessed the creation of the universe. And, well, good night, my sweet prince. Onward we march. I am kind of hoping we find another wizard, but hey, I'll take all these extra secret floors or whatever. Because, getting those means I don't gotta fight anything. And that is phenomenal. Not that I don't like the EXP, but it's just that 2,000 compared to 20 or 40k is just so little and not worth my time that I'd rather just go fight the bosses that I know are gonna be easy. Now, eventually, once we start, doing all the final breeding for the last episode, I may or may not change my tune on wanting the extra EXP, but I mean, still, I'm just gonna run through the slime gate, fight Watabous, and call it a day. I'm a simple man with very simple tactics. If it ain't broke, do not fix it. It does make me wonder, though, because I know, speedrunning is a big thing. What does a speedrun of this game look like? It's so RNG dependent that I wonder how they route the game, and what they try to do to recruit a team good enough to just beat the game and rush through it. I hope there's no one out there crazy enough to do 100%, but I imagine a full game speedrun would... It's probably really quickly if I had to guess, because I would almost bet that they just command their monsters for every fight outside of the arena fights, and then just make sure they learn specific moves and only use, like, the boss monsters. I bet a task of this game is extremely quick. That'd be kind of cool to see and look at. But to be honest, a game like this that is so heavily rooted in RNG, I would never, ever want to consider speedrunning it because, oh my gosh. I do know, from having seen a lot of things and heard talk from a lot of speedrunners, that usually if you speedrun a game, you will have, like, insane mastery over it, but it also kind of ruins it for a lot of them most of the time, because you play it for hours and hours and hours on end. You've seen it all, you know how to break it, it's just getting the execution down, and so I don't blame them for getting sick of their favorite games, because, they've played it non-stop for hundreds and hundreds and probably thousands and thousands of hours. It's one of the reasons that, like, the idea of speedrunning fascinates me, just to see this incredibly high skill-based execution performed in games that you love, and just to see how badly you can either break them, go through them, etc., or, how crazy good people have gotten at them. Like, that's cool. But at the same time, when you get so deep into a game that it's just unrecognizable, I can't imagine that's too much fun. Now, to be fair, I think the best speedrunners out there, you know how to really show it up and make it, fun and extravagant, and they can explain it all because they know exactly what's happening and why. But usually for the layman, watching, when the screen just becomes a rainbow splash of vomit, or you have no idea what's going on for 3 minutes because they're setting up some crazy skip or something, it just gets a little to watch. Because I feel like most people, when they see, like, oh wow, this game's being speedran or whatever, right? Like, they usually expect some high-level gameplay and just, like, mastery of it. And usually you do get that, depending on the category, like if it's, glitchless or something. But for most speedruns, like the ones that you actually find if you just look up, like, name of game, speedrun, and then usually go record just to want to see the fastest time. Usually I feel most people are like, oh man, I want to see how they handle this part that I really struggled with, or oh, how did this bit go? And I swear 9 out of 10, it's just, oh yeah, you skip this. We break through a wall, or go through a door, or clip through the floor, and just skip it entirely. And it's kind of sad that the fastest way to play and beat the game is just skip most of it, because you technically can. That's why I think I like glitchless runs better, especially in games like, say, Zelda, or I guess Super Metroid too, that's another super interesting one. But you get the idea. Sometimes it's more interesting to see a glitchless run, because there's more comprehensible gameplay on screen than it's just like, hey, watch me break this game and bend it over for like 30 minutes. So it is cool. It is definitely cool seeing that once or twice, but after you've seen it once or twice, I mean, the magic kind of wears off. I'm like, alright, what are you going to click through? How are you going to break this scenario? But it is always interesting hearing, like, from game to game, how they figured out some crazy skip or whatever exact set of inputs to do to break it like that. Like, that's the interesting part for me. I love hearing the technical stuff. Like, oh yeah, if you, do this setup in this certain place and you use this exact move and the enemy's doing this or whatever, then, oh yeah, just flings you across the map and you win. Like, that's fascinating. Games are such an interesting just ocean of possibility, to be honest, that it's always interesting to see how these people figured this out and the stories behind them. And, of course, like I said, the best speedrunners put on a real big show for it. And so it's always interesting just hearing it, let alone seeing it. Yeah, speedrunning, what a fascinating category. It's such a cool thing that a lot of people can get behind. And also, too, it does a lot of good. Like, all the different donations that happen because of it, the community behind it, as well as just, like, the understanding and preservation of games. It's such a big proponent of all of those things that I'm happy that it's stuck around and continues to stick around for as long as it has. It would be so sad if just suddenly, well, games aren't good anymore, we're done. Sorry. Which, to be fair, I feel that's why a lot of older games get speedruns, because there's A, the nostalgia factor, and B, everyone just reads them. So, you know, there's a whole bunch of different facets into it, but I always thought it was just an interesting topic, ultimately. And I figured, while we're pounding through all these different gates, I may as well talk about something. Because as fun as it is just speeding this up, saying nothing, and just, here you go. At that point, you may as well just skip the end. Which, to be fair, I'm sure some of you will. Which, hey, I'm not complaining. After all, we are here to... Oh, gosh darn it. To get things done. Hello, Coliseum battle. I know I've not been doing enough fights. Okay, let's get this over with. Please let the Big Bang kill everything. Oh, it's not even close. Oh, let's... Okay, good. Whew. One Big Bang is scary, but two Big Bangs? Oh my gosh. As you can see too, because the Coliseum scales your total party level, you're pretty much going to say, well, you're going to say out loud that this is boring, but you're going to see that almost all of these fights are just the same remix of the same 4 fights. And to be fair, that always wasn't true. But a lot of late game stuff is going to just be the same stuff over and over again when you're fighting other masters because of how the scaling works. And so yes, while the EXP is good, and the possible monsters you could take from them by using sirloins are pretty good, it gets a little mundane, doesn't it? And besides too, early on, it was always a fun treat. I'm like, oh hey, let's do this fight, challenge ourselves, see if we can do it, maybe get a cool monster out of it that we otherwise couldn't obtain. Now, especially that we're down to brass tacks, it's kind of just the point of like, well, beat them, maybe get an item. You're probably not going to recruit the monster unless you really go out of your way to do it. So, they're not as exciting as they used to be, but early on, I always feel like they're such a treat. So, I like them still, but by the end of the game, they do get a little stale. I'm not going to lie to you. Now, let's see here. Perfect. We're right here, honestly. Get a snow staff. Very cool. And look at that. We're already here. Hey there, Mudo. You look a little better now that you're animated. A little scarier, too, to be honest. So how's it going, buddy? I also have you in the party. Very fun.
Welcome, you worthless. I am Mudo. You must know that.
I actually do, yeah.
Fine. Now, are you prepared?
Well, last I checked, yes.
Fine. Let's begin.
What a polite boss. Now, this is Mudo. You know him, you love him. I mean, it's kind of the same story as with all of them. He's got 5,000 HP, 999 MP, has poison air, and white fire. I'm going to be very honest. This is probably the weakest boss we've fought yet. Kind of ironic, no? Otherwise, do what you've been doing. There's really no difference in strategy once you're this far in the game. Double power, spam, quad attack, Big Bang, Hell Blast, heal us all, surge, you name it. You'll win the fight. There's really not much to say. It is cool getting to see all these bosses throughout Dragon Quest history. But when you've got a universal team made for, whooping behind, it kinda gets comically easy to deal with all of these fights. It's also funny thinking that all these legendary epic evil lords are losing to a small child. You know. Otherwise, there goes Mudo. Thanks for the EXP. Because you got Miru to level 50. Very nice. They get 14 HP, 12 MP, 14 attack, 6 defense, 9 agility. Very awesome.
I was beaten by worthless. It means I am less than worthless?
Kinda.
Well, shall we go back?
We shall, Watabou. And honestly, we're making good time. Let's just do the final gate. So yes, King, we did in fact beat the Lord. And we're gonna go beat the last one too. This ought to be fun. I mean, our team's looking pretty darn good. And although Miru isn't, maxed or anything, he's still doing good enough. I mean, maxed out stats like Zoma and Mudo are pretty nice. But you don't need them to beat the game. I've honestly done way more overkill grinding than I should have. I also don't need to enter the arena. So, kind of goes to show that if the game is too hard, you can just farm metabols, be done with it. Now, let's head right on in. The final gate of the game. This is the Old Man's Gate, the Dragon Gate. You can imagine what you'll find here. All the different dragons we've been fighting throughout the game, Crespins, Dragon Kids, Mini Kids, Mini Drax, Poison Gons, Melgons, Fairy Drax, Gascon, King Cobra, Paranons, Lizard Flies, Lizard Men, Sword Gun, Tortugon, Wing Snake, and then, interestingly, the ones I have actually come here for, Andreals, Great Drax, Mad Dragons, Rayburns, and, of course, Spikerus. Otherwise, You know the name of the game. Map Magic, Step Guard are your friend. Rush through it, do the fights you need to, and get to that darn boss. This is the second class one we'll be fighting, because you already know that arena challenger is going to be the penultimate, well, not penultimate, this is the penultimate fight. It's going to be the ultimate battle in the game. And let me tell you, it is a doozy. It is no joke. I've said this about a lot of things. I've meant it about a lot of things. Also, man, I have a rough floor here. But, like I was saying, that final challenger is, no joke. They will throw hands. They will surprise you with what they have, and they are difficult. Now, ultimately, I think in total, this boss in this gate actually does have more total HP than that fight does, but they have more skills available because it's a 3v3 with the arena challenger fight. So, it is technically much harder. So, I'm not going to lie, I am a little worried for it, because I remember struggling with it a ton, I mean a ton, when I was younger. So, I'm hoping that that was just placebo from me being a dumb kid and bad at the video game. Now, I've bred our team in accordance with making every single one of these fights a joke, so I'm hoping that at least that fight gives us a little bit of struggle, while also, you know, not being so incredibly hard that I am sad. Now, I don't think it'll be that way. I think it's going to be a decent fight with some twists and turns, but I think ultimately we will come out on top just because I have obscenely overfarmed everybody. Now, to be fair, I don't know that. I do not know that, but I can hope. I can hope. Still, we are getting through pretty quickly. Oh, no, we just keep getting a bunch of massive floors. Although I do want to check the chests for things like warp salves and health waters and stuff like that, it's honestly just faster for me to ignore it, especially if it's a mimic, because then we just get more fights that we just don't need to be doing. But Udo, your map magic has been invaluable to us, just as Toto's was before you, and whoever we had before you, in addition to that. Ooh, nice. If I was wise, I would be taking the time to save in those rooms, but frankly, I'm just excited that we're so darn close. This is one of the best feelings of any game, knowing that you've done so much work, you've come so darn far, and that you're right there, to seeing it all through to the end, to having proven that you can do this. It's such a good feeling. And sure, I'll be a little sad when it's gone and we're done and dusted, but that's why I'm happy to be making Let's Plays. It'll always be here for whoever to watch, whenever, myself included, if I get nostalgic. Now, to be fair, I think at that point I would just replay the game, but, you know, sometimes games are best used or played just once, and then you kind of forget about them and call it good. And a good example of that are open world games that are hundreds of hours. I would never watch replay most of them. Now, to be fair, I have considered a couple of them for future Let's Plays. In fact, one of them I actually used, in order to, I guess, train myself and learn how to do Let's Plays. So, that's kind of interesting. I think I talked about it before in one of the other series, but interestingly, here's some fun lore for you if you want to know. One of the first proto Let's Plays I did was Fallout New Vegas, namely because I know the game, and I thought it would be a good game that allows me to just kind of do whatever and talk about whatever, because it's so goofy and unserious, while also still being able to focus on the game and comment, you know, when needed and where needed. So, I had a lot of fun with that. I think we got about, I want to say 40 hours in, or, oh gosh, I think we were through 2 of the 4 DLCs, so like, we were coming up to the end of the game, like, we were really close, but ultimately I got what I needed out of it, which was hearing myself, and namely file size recording, because oh my gosh, I did not know what I was doing. And you can imagine the look of surprise on my face when one of the first videos I recorded was over 50 gigabytes for, I think, 2 hours. That's ridiculous. Now, for reference, generally speaking, most of the videos I record are around, like, 1 or 2 for a couple hours. Alright, maybe, like, up to 10, depending on how many hours, but still. But usually it's not that bad. Now, to be fair, a lot goes into that, like how much black is on screen, how much color is used, how quickly things are moving. There's a lot, to be fair. But I found a happy medium where videos aren't too big, but they still look good enough, especially for games like this. I mean, come on. You can practically count the pixels on screen compared to, you know, anything that's made in a 3D engine. So, I don't think it's, you know, terrible. And to be fair, for a Game Boy Color game, while it does offer a wide variety of shape, sizes, and colors, I mean, it's still a Game Boy Color game. Wow, this Mystic Gate is, as far as can be. Sometimes you get unlucky like that. Not that I'm complaining, just, you know, it will slow us down. Still, getting all 3 gates that were remaining done means that next episode, it's the finale for sure. Now, to be fair, this will take me some time to put together, but I've already accounted for that. So, basically, probably what's going to happen is after this episode, just for a little sneak peek, for those of you who aren't skipping these portions, we're going to go fight the Ultimate Challenger, that's what we'll open with, and then it's breeding the Ultimate Monster, and that's that. So, there won't be a lot. It's going to be a pretty short and sweet finale, a nice final send-off. But honestly, I think that's perfect. We don't need to hang on things. We don't need to overstay our welcome. We've already had, you know... Oh, perfect. Look at this. This guy agrees with me. He said, yeah, you shouldn't overstay your welcome. Get going, Shiny. And you know what? I'm all for it. Thank you, Mr. Wizard. But like I was saying, I think we've, you know, this will be episode 49 if my math is correct. And it's been 49 episodes of just non-stop fun, if you ask me. Hey, Zone hits level 88, gains 6 HP, 1 defense. Very nice. But, we don't need to push it beyond 50. I think ending at 50 and having a nice, succinct ending will feel pretty good. I've honestly been proud of everything here. Take out Warp Staff. Now, here we are. A very special boss room that has 2 screens. For this is Deathmore.
Just because I let you play, you have such conceit. I was going to smash you all, then you showed up. Such a simple mortal. I don't need to introduce myself. I'm going to be the king of the entire world. The great Deathmore. Come on, worthless mortals. I will teach you how helpless and imperfect you are. I'm Deathmore, the king of all flesh.
So yes, this is Deathmore, the final boss of Dragon Quest VI, the game Terry is native to. He has 9,000 HP, 700 MP, knows Big Bang, Hellblast, and Somsi Call, meaning you might be fighting another monster in this fight. This is one of the few fights in the game, after the postgame, that genuinely is scary. He can do a lot of damage very quickly, he has pretty good speed, so he'll dodge fairly often. And because he can summon natural forces, you've got more to deal with. This is a tough fight. And because it's Somsi, I think they can heal Deathmore there. So you gotta be careful. And luckily, by using your AoE damaging attacks and abilities, you will be dealing with Somsi slowly. Plus, they're not really all that good with Rain Slash, but still, it pays to keep paying attention to the fight and what all's going on. So like this next turn, I'm probably going to use a World Dew, just so that way we can keep on the aggression. Also, Somsi's knocked out. All that talk for very little. But if you were less prepared, this could be a much scarier fight. Otherwise, we are keeping up pretty good, dealing some pretty good damage each turn. Although having immunity to these spells would have been nice with Soul, our team is much more suited to taking on Deathmore. Especially because we have all that HP, we can fall back on it unless they get like a max damage crit. It is so rare to see 1,000 plus damage that with max HP at 999, you're pretty safe from anything in the game. Even Mega Magic would struggle to take you out. Alright, Deathmore does another summon. Somsi joins the battle again. Immediately gets hit with a Big Bang. Can't be pleasant. I will go one more turn at least before we heal up. Because I think we can take it. Yeah, we should be fine. The one I'm a little worried about is Miru, just because, well, they're a little less level, but that's it. That is the final gate boss in the game, who gives 16,667 EXP. I imagine they chose that number for a very specific reason.
Oh, I lost. I guess I cannot win in this form.
Deathmore is the most powerful of the evil lords. Actually, he should be stronger than that. I wonder if it's because he took an old guy's form. Oh well. Now, Terry, let's go back.
Yes, indeed, Watabou. So yeah, as Watabou alludes, Deathmore has 2 more forms, which we will be seeing. Oh, and the king has new dialogue.
That monster is the strongest one behind the Traveler's Gate. That's my Terry, the most powerful master in the universe. The next Starry Night won't come for a long time, but I'm counting on you for the next time as well. And for the tiny medals too.
So yeah, there he is directly confirming he is the Metal Man. But we've done it. That's every gate in the game. Every single boss, barring the Challenger. And so, because we've done that, we know what that means. Certain someone will keep their promise. Hey, Watabou.
You made it, Terry. You beat 'em all. As I promised, I'll be your pal, okay? Good to meet you, Terry. I'll be waiting for you at this farm. And thanks for winning. Watabou Great Log seemed steamed. Thanks to you, new spirits were born.
And so there he goes. We now have Watabou in our possession. Let's go check him out. The ultimate monster reward for beating the gates, you receive Watabou, whose name is Wata. They're male and level 20. While they are adorable, their stats are horrendous. 133 attack, 182 defense, 370 agility, to be fair, is pretty good, and 239 intelligence is phenomenal. However, 137 HP ain't great, though 397 MP, pretty good. They're humane, which is quite interesting. They have very little EXP and are from the plant family, as you may have suspected with them being born of a great tree. This is the only Watabou you can ever get. There is no way to breed it. If you get rid of this one, you are screwed. So be very careful. Now, if you wanted to legitimately use Watabou on your team, you can breed Watabou with other plants to just remake Watabou. However, if you ever mess up and get rid of them, that's it. So be very careful. Now, Watabou comes with 3 skills. Chance, which just casts a random spell, Whistle, which calls monsters to you, and Imitate, which will imitate the previously used attack from whatever monster. All in all, Watabou's not really a fighter, but you do need them if you want to breed the ultimate monster. So, it's a necessary evil. Next time we play Dragon Warrior Monsters, it's the finale, baby. We're taking on the new arena challenger, the hardest fight in the game, and then breeding the ultimate monster. It's been a heck of a ride, and we're going to see it through. As always, I'm Brett. Thanks for watching, and have a good one.